how I'm manoeuvring it around the bends and twists and accommodating for the widenings and narrowings in this patient's ear canal. So I think I've managed to remove the lateral plug of wax and keratin. So anything beyond the second bend, which is where we are now, the canal to the right there, that's the second bend of the ear canal. And where you find the second bend of the ear canal is where the cartilage portion of the ear canal meets the bony part of the ear canal. We call that the osseo-cartilaginous junction. So when you're working around the second bend, you know you're not too far from the bony part of the ear canal. And as I discussed earlier, the skin that lines the bony part of the ear canal is extremely thin. It's less than 0.1 millimeters in thickness, so we do have to be very careful and gentle when we're working on the bony part of the ear canal, because if you do make contact with the canal wall, it hasn't got much of a buffer because the skin's very, very thin, and the bone is not flexible and malleable like the cartilage. It's rigid, and it can be very uncomfortable, so it's going to be gentle. So bringing this out in large chunks now, another huge piece there. If you watch till the end, you'll see a still image and you'll see all the wax and keratin that are removed. And the patient has got quite long hair strands near the entrance there, a bit longer than the norm. And it can sometimes, you can see there the whiskers, it can slightly obscure the view, but I'm still able to remove this, clear this ear out. So again, I'm just going to go over the top and slowly bring it down. And you can see that there's a little opening now through the wax and keratin. So at this stage, the patient, although there's still a tremendous amount of wax and keratin in his ear, you could feel an instant relief because the sound can now travel through the ear canal, through the opening. And you can see why this plug was quite difficult to remove. It's lined with this very thick blanket of dead skin. So in order to remove this wax plug, we need to detach the skin. It's very tough and strong. And you can see it extends all the way deep into the ear canal near the eardrum. And I'm just going to give it a little wriggle. We're going to separate this big plug from the sheets of dead skin. You're just holding it deeper in the ear. You can see it's tearing at the bottom there. And eureka, we managed to bring that out. So the eardrum's fully visible. The patient's just got some dead skin now, and he did experience some clarinetting. So when you suction dead skin, the skin violently flaps at the tip of the sucker sometimes, and it can emit a very loud, almost deafening high-frequency squeal. Not only for the patient, but it's also extremely loud for myself. So at this stage, we were getting some clarinetting. I decided to put some olive oil into the ear just to soften the skin to see if it helps me to remove it without it clarinetting. I'm just suctioning some excess oil out there. And I've got a better purchase, but we were getting some clarinetting, so I advised the patient I'm going to leave that skin. Although it's there, it's not significant, it's not going to affect the patient's hearing. And I was just asking them if it's okay, whether they're okay, because there was a bit of clarinetting. And I'm just mopping up some excess oil now. I've just bent the end of the suction probe so I can get access